is Miss Melody, and I am the Assistant Director of Children's Ministries here at Bluegrass Church. And I want to show you my new toy. It's really good. I can make like shapes with it and stuff. This is a 1, and then this is a 2, and then this is a 3, and this is a 4. Excellent. It reminds me of a story of 4 friends who had good legs and 1 friend who had wonky legs. His legs didn't work at all. It's what we call paralyzed. He couldn't move. He couldn't do anything. All he could do was lie down on his bed all day long. He couldn't do things like camping or anything else, like playing football, rolling around, or even going to school. Do you think he had a great time? No. But do you know, I've discovered that we all have a problem that stops us from having the best out of life. If this wasn't a number 1, it would be a capital I, for eye disease. You know, it goes like this. I want this. I want that. I want it now. So one day, the 4 friends with the good legs were sitting around the breakfast table reading the newspaper. Hey, he's coming to town. Who's coming to town? That man. What man? The one who made a deaf person hear and a blind man see, and even a dead girl live. Who were they thinking of? Jesus. So, maybe they can make their 1 friend with the wonky legs healthy again and can walk. So, the 4 friends and the 1 friend with the wonky legs jumped off his camping mat sleepy thingy and went to the door. Oh, he didn't go to the door. He's paralyzed. Let's try that again. So they said, come in. Guess what? Jesus was coming to town and we are going to take you to see him. Maybe he can make you better. Then the 1 friend with the wonky legs just looked at them. I don't think Jesus will think that I'm important enough. He's not going to bother with me. Do you think the 4 friends with the good legs were going to be put off? Of course not. So they lifted the camping mat thingy and they carried their 1 friend with the wonky legs off to find Jesus. When they got to the house where Jesus was, they couldn't get anywhere near the door because it was so crowded. I know, said one of them. Let's go see if we can get in through the window. But even the window was crowded out. I know, let's go up the stairs onto the roof. Now, I ought to point out that the houses in Israel at that time probably didn't have their stairs on the inside of the house. They had their stairs on the outside of the house, and they didn't have pointed roofs. Instead, they were more like that. They were flat. So when it was really hot in the summer, you could go up the stairs onto the roof and have a nice cold drink under an umbrella. They didn't have trees on top of houses. So, the 4 friends with the good legs carried their 1 friend with the wonky legs up the stairs to the roof. And they began to do something amazing. They began to dig. Now you have to know that roofs in those days were probably not made of tile as they are now, but of mud and straw and plaster. So can you imagine what all the people in the house must have been going through when they began to get showered with bits of mud and straw and plaster? Hey, stop that! Stop making such a mess! You've ruined my hairstyle! Do you think the 4 friends with the good legs stopped? No. They They carried on until the hole was big enough for them to look through. And when they looked down, they could see that the hole was just in the right place. It was right over where Jesus was standing. Then they got some rope, tied to the corners of the camping mat, and they lowered their friend with the wonky legs down onto the floor in front of Jesus. Now, he looked up at Jesus, and Jesus looked down at him, and as he did, he could see from Jesus' face that he really did care about him. He really loved him. Wow, that's great. Jesus really loves me. But what about the things I've done wrong? I've said some horrible things, and I've thought some horrible things. Jesus looked down and he said, "Son, I forgive you for all your sins." Sins is the Bible word for all those things wrong that we do and say and think. But all the people in the room started to think inside their heads, "He can't do that. Only God can forgive people for their sins. Who does this man think he is? How dare he?" But Jesus knew just what they were thinking. So he looked around the crowd and he said, "Which is easier for you to say? Your sins are forgiven, or to say, stand up, roll up your camping mat, and walk?" Everyone went really quiet. Could he do it? Was he going to do it? Then Jesus looked down at our one friend with the wonky legs, and he said, "Just so you know that I really am the Son of God and that I do have the power to forgive sins, stand up, pick up your camping mat sleeping thingy, and go home." Our one friend with the wonky legs felt a tingling feeling in his wonky legs. He sat up, he stood up, he picked up his camping mat and rolled it up, put it under his arms, and he walked out of the room. And as he did, I think he winked at Jesus. When he got outside, his four friends with the good legs came rushing down the stairs. And they were doing cartwheels because now there were 5 friends with good legs. They were so excited, but do you know, I got just as excited as that when I found out what Jesus had done on the cross. I said to Jesus, "Please, will you forgive me for all the things I have done? Come live in my life and help me to follow you." And do you know what? He did. Because Jesus didn't stay dead on the cross. What happened 3 days later is that he came back alive. And because he is alive, he can forgive anyone who asks him to. And that is the most fantastic thing that could ever happen to you. God bless. I love you. And take care.